Welcome to this week's Supply Chain Update, brought to you by Phoenix International. Let's start with market conditions. On the Trans-Pacific eastbound lane, demand has started to ease, largely due to new tariff policies that are impacting shipment planning. Volumes are expected to soften further through April, with little rate movement anticipated. Floating rates remain in place through month-end, and there's no peak season surcharge scheduled for April. Shifting to the Far East westbound lane, a portion of TPEB cargo has been redirected to Europe, creating a slight uptick in volume. Despite that, the broader demand outlook remains uncertain due to ongoing trade shifts. Freight rates have remained steady for the fifth week, supported by solid vessel utilization. Meanwhile, on the transatlantic westbound trade, conditions have stabilized. Blank sailings are down from March levels, but rate pressure remains uneven. Northern Europe continues to see surcharge cancellations, while carriers in the East Mediterranean are moving ahead with new PSS implementations. Now let's take a look at operational updates. Equipment availability on the Trans-Pacific eastbound lane remains strong across major Asian origin points, and port operations are running smoothly with no major congestion delays reported. In the Far East westbound trade, congestion continues to affect key European ports, including Piraeus, Mersin, Valencia, Hamburg, Antwerp, and Rotterdam. Schedule reliability is impacted, though equipment access remains sufficient at origin ports. On the transatlantic lane, inland areas like Austria, Hungary, and Switzerland continue to face equipment shortages. Mersin is also experiencing local container availability issues. In these cases, shippers are encouraged to consider carrier haulage for better coverage. Turning to capacity management, capacity on the Trans-Pacific eastbound trade has tightened this month, with about 20% of space withdrawn due to an increase in blank sailings and service suspensions. Carriers are actively managing supply to match the weaker demand. In the Far East westbound lane, the Ocean Alliance will begin a new round of blank sailings mid-April to address ongoing overcapacity, while the Premier Alliance is also removing sailings starting in week 19. Shippers should confirm late April schedules and book early where possible. On the transatlantic westbound route, overall blank sailings have eased, but some impacts linger from March reductions, particularly in East Mediterranean services. Carriers continue to deploy cautiously due to localized operational disruptions. Here's a quick recap on this week's U.S. tariff landscape. All U.S. imports are now subject to a 10% baseline tariff, implemented earlier this month. Although reciprocal tariffs were initially proposed for several countries, they've been suspended for 90 days and likely delayed until early July. China remains the key exception, with reciprocal tariffs set at 125% in addition to existing rates. A proposed U.S. policy to charge over $1 million per port call on container ships built in China is drawing sharp criticism. Industry stakeholders raised concerns during recent hearings, warning that the move could add pressure to already stressed supply chains and port operations. The measure is still under review and could be finalized later this month. Following recent tariff escalations, early signs of a global supply chain slowdown are emerging. Companies across manufacturing and tech sectors are reportedly delaying orders or scaling back imports. While some duties are paused temporarily, ongoing uncertainty is influencing production decisions across markets. Two Asia-based carriers have placed new orders for heavy lift vessels, anticipating a rebound in offshore energy logistics. The new ships are scheduled for delivery in 2027 and will support the transport of large infrastructure for energy projects. The contracts were awarded to Chinese shipyards, pointing to renewed optimism in long-term project cargo demand. And that concludes our update on the global supply chain. Thank you for joining us. We will continue to monitor these developments and keep you informed. You can follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube for more supply chain related updates.